Hello everyone, I have another journal here that I wanted to share with you. This one is kind of geared toward a man. It's got things that I believe men would be interested in, or a man would be happy to use if he were a person who liked to write, keep a journal. It is faux leather cover. I'm going to try really hard not to say I'm not doing well today. This is take 3. So just bear with me, please. It's not a good talking day. Faux leather that's very textured, pebble type leather. It has canvas on the inside. It is stitched all the way around, and I left the edges of the canvas raw so that it will fray. On the front is some layered up canvas and burlap, which are stitched on, and I put on a book plate which has a piece of I can't think, card that can be written on, so you could personalize the journal, put a phrase or word or name on there. The closure of this book, I wanted something a little different, so I took a strip of the same canvas and just looped it around and clipped it on with this money clip, which I altered, and it's simply just clipped on there. So this money clip had a different image on there. It was I believe bowling pins or something like that. It wasn't something I was interested in, and so I altered it. I put an image of this man that I got from a book, a book about American history. I'm telling you, it's not a good day, guys. Okay, this guy here from early 1920s, I believe, maybe pre-20s, and layered it up with some glossy accents, and I thought he was looking pretty dapper there. Hope that's focused. There's a man in the background that you can kind of make out. They were putting gas in their car, so that ties in with the an element that runs throughout the book. It's not the theme of the book, but an element that runs throughout the book is vintage cars and antique cars. So that kind of tied in, but only if you knew what they were doing. So never mind. Anyways, there are 3 signatures stitched into the spine. You can see the back side of the faux leather. The inside canvas just has letters stitched onto it, or printed onto, I can't talk, printed onto it. There's a fabric pocket, which I have layered with some cardstock to give it some stability, and some vintage writing paper, and there's one of those pages about the antique cars. It has to do with Ford advertising as well as antique cars. This is a security envelope that I stamped, and I cut the flap in half so that you have 2 pockets. Some pattern paper and some really grungy coffee-dyed paper is what the majority of the pages are in this. Here's a large pocket that I just put on a little, what are these called? Just a piece of ephemera with some masking tape that I inked up, and it's stapled. This is a postcard. It's not terribly old. It's about, it is an image of Grand Mesa in Arizona. I'm telling you, I can't talk. I inked it up to make it look a little older. Some stamping here on this index card. Some pattern paper sewn on with some cheesecloth. This is an image of a deer. And up here on the top, I reinforced this hole that was already in the paper, put on a, what are these called? A tag that I stamped 1872. It was just a random number that I stamped on, nothing specific about it, just safety pinned on there. Another one of those book pages about the antique cars, some wood grain stamping, wood grain vellum with some fabric sewn on. You can see the lines that transferred from another piece of paper that was being coffee dyed. This is a pattern paper that had vintage cameras on it. Some stamping here. This also has some typewriter text stamped. Just I have to breathe. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Just stamped along just for some added interest. In the interior of each signature, I did put some masking tape just to add an element of grunge, I guess you could say. I inked it up, and it also helps to reinforce the paper. And some stitching here of one of those informational pieces, papers from the book. Some more wood grain stamping, the other side of that page, book page. Some coffee dyed paper stitched on just for some journaling space. This is an acetate image, just glued on there. Really grungy paper, like I said, index card. In this large pocket is just some extra writing paper and a tag with some fabric stapled to the top. It's one of those images from the book and cheesecloth. The other side of the security envelope, which I have attached a book page because there was an address and a business name on there. Large pocket here with a tab that you could label, some extra writing paper, and a vintage thesaurus page that have the words masculine and manly on them, on it. Some brown paper. This is a 1912 geography textbook page that has some original writing up here. It says Japan and Italy. I reinforced it with some coffee dyed paper because it is old and brittle paper, and sewed it on as well. Some stamping, a little pocket here with an inked up playing card. It's not old, but I aged it. A brown paper bag, which I made a little tuck spot here with a vintage slide. My dryer just kicked on. I don't know if you can hear that or not. It'll probably do that a couple more times. It's the Golden Gate Bridge, and this is just a ticket that I inked up and stamped Notice the Details. Another one of those acetate images. Journaling card for some extra writing, which I now cannot get back in the bag. There we go. It's going to be one of those kind of days. The center of this, I did leave the strings long. You could easily cut them off, or you could tie something on them if you wanted to. Paper clipped up here is just a journaling card that I collaged on with some book text about convertibles, and it has some vintage antique cars image and an arrow. Maybe I shouldn't do this video today. I don't know, but the book's done, so I want to get it listed. The other side of the paper bag, and some more masking tape, stamps, more stamping. The other side of the geography page with some more writing, has countries listed. A tag that I've collaged on for some added interest. I don't know what kind of paper this is, but it's pretty neat. It has a neat texture and color. This is a book page from the book about antique cars, convertibles. It has illustrations of patents. Wood grain stamping. It's another acetate image that I just tucked in a little card that says today. Some, what is it called? Raffia paper stitched to the side there. Another book image. Stamped Explore, Dream, Discover up there. Some more stamping. This is one of the Tim Holtz images. I believe they're called cabinet cards. I'm not 100% sure. But of some, it looks like Boy Scouts saluting the flag. Some more stamping. This is a pocket with just some extra writing. If I can get it in. Some extra writing paper. Envelope. This I left like this so that you can see that this picture is removable and can be replaced with something else. It's just in these photo corners, which you could also, I'll fix that later, you could also leave on there if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. Some more stamping, a side pocket here with some pattern paper, a inked up tag, and this is a vintage postcard. I'm not sure of the place or the year, but you can see that it is old. It was once stamped into I believe a scrapbook or something along those lines. More of that illustration. And the back pocket, also fabric, layered with some cardstock, an extra tag, and a little bag of some extra goodies that will come along with the book. And there is the journal. Also, with this closure, if you didn't want to use this as part of the closure, you could clip it anywhere in the book, and just simply tie this around your book to keep it closed if you chose to. It's entirely up to whomever. So there is that one. Thanks for watching, guys.